Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise, and welcome to From the Depths BetaTest Update 2.8.8. Now this is quite a big and special update, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, but the first thing you've probably noticed is, that's some interesting music in the background there. BorderWise, where did you get that? And the answer is, I didn't. That's in-game music. Among many other things, the game's soundtrack has finally been updated, so it means that, for some videos at least, I no longer need to dub in music to stop the old, one or two repetitive tracks playing. So, that's great news for me and everybody, because it's pretty sweet tracks you can probably hear. And hopefully it's all not too loud. But in any case, this is a huge update, and the short version, for those of you who are all too long didn't read, is that there is a new campaign map for Niter, and also I've put up a poll on the YouTube community page concerning the fate of the campaign streams, because it's not compatible with old saves. CIWS and missile intercepts now can target CRAM shells, that's a big one. There's changes to how armor works, there is no more leveling, and yes, the music. And so, if you want to see the new map, it's a lot bigger. It's not hugely different from the old one, it's just that the main thing is that it's, bigger. It is, the old one I believe was 15 by 15, this is 18 by 18, so I can't math, but it's a lot bigger. And I believe that means that the white flares no longer get stuck in the middle and just get ganged up on by everybody else, so that's nice. So yeah, but we're gonna read through the patch notes in rough order. I have advanced in technological sophistication because I've got a Google document open on my other monitor instead of reading from handwritten notes, although the notepaper is still here. Okay, so first things first is that there's some changes to the avatar. The avatar drop pod can now track the target vehicle to help it land on target, so if your avatar dies and has to respawn, the thingy can then actually track the vehicle you want to spawn on, so that's nice. And also another change is, and this is possibly something best done with by demonstrating here, by turning off God mode, is that the avatar grenade launcher, the base damage is up from 200 to 1,500, and the radius uses the standard explosion scaling now from 3 meters to roughly 8.97 meters. So, let's see if I can aim this right and blow up my own mast. I can indeedy. I missed. Let's disable repairs, because that would take too long. There we go. And you might be wondering what that shiny thing is. We'll get to that in a hot second. So, first let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, so, the campaign. The Quest for Niter campaign now has 4 unique starting positions and background stories, one for each difficulty level. So, you don't spawn in the same place. If you pick the difficulty, if you pick a different difficulty level, and I think that's just so if you don't want to start by fighting the Deepwater Guard, you don't have to. So I have no idea what they are. We'll probably find out. Yeah, that's it. Actually, let's go. No, should I do that now? No, this video is going to be long enough as it is. Okay. Change in the campaign, the way NPC structures are placed, repaired, saved, and synchronized in multiplayer has been made much more efficient. I don't really do multiplayer, so it's not super relevant to me. And another change is the Niter map has been redrawn and Quest for Niter faction areas have been moved around. So, as I said before, the white flares, I think, have been moved out of the hotspot in the middle. The map editor, there has been something added, and all Rambots of X faction are dead victory condition type has been added. That is presumably for multiplayer maps, and speaking of, there's something been added to multiplayer. You know what, let's have something, let's have 2 Marauders blow themselves up endlessly. Just for giggles. So, let's watch. So you notice that the music changes depending on what's spawned in. And I believe what's playing right now is just the easy level Deepwater Guard music. So that's quite fitting. Not really, because these guys can't kill each other, really. I'll turn off God mode soon. Also, it's fun to see how they're pushing each other around. Let's actually go here. Let's not do that, actually. Okay, so what was I still talking about? Alright, so add to the multiplayer. A 1 versus 1 player versus player map has been added. Adventure mode can now be played in multiplayer. The Assault on Erie co-op multiplayer map has been rebalanced and tweaked and is now Assault on Conger. Co-op campaigns can now be customized before you launch them in multiplayer. The multiplayer lobby UI has been designed. I think that's meant to be redesigned. I hope that's the original patch notes being goofy and not my copy-paste of them. Multiplayer, the tower defense map has been fixed and adjusted. I didn't even know these things existed. Multiplayer, there is a 5-second countdown before a match is started in multiplayer, during which changes to the configuration are locked. And Tournament of Kings multiplayer map now includes the Rambot avatar. I don't know what that means. And a little custom jet engine change, or addition. Added small piping capability to the small CJE system. So, in case you're wondering what that means, it means if you go over here, that's what these things are for. That basically means that you can connect. It links combustors to exhaust and allows extension of the CJE engine for exhaust venting. So that's very handy. Let's see, what does that do? That looks like that. And I just deleted my vehicle because I'm cool like that. Okay, so we should probably delete both these Marauders right now because we need to build stuff. And we need to turn the UI back on. So, on our 3-meter wide plank right here, we're going to talk about the UI a little bit. So, custom jets, Daddy Blades, and all-powered propulsion have a pack particle cannon style stats tab. So what that means is pretty much every kind of propulsion, including this one presumably, has a stats tab. So you can see here the stats of everything here. The material cost, the volume, the weight, maximum thrust, maximum power use, thrust to power, thrust to volume, and also just like how much power per material you're getting, thrust per volume, thrust per material, material cost, etc, etc. So this is how much this particular component is going to cost you over X amount. So if you change that to that, you'll see that this changes. So if I set that to maximum, it's about 7,500 materials it'll cost you for 1 minute. Set it to this, that's down to 2,000. So yeah, it's like this is just a helpful numbers thing, so you don't have to do math, which is great because I hate math. And fuel engine UI has been replaced. It now matches the style of the particle cannon one. So if I just plonk down a rudimentary fuel engine, this guy. So you'll see here it's got this brand new spiffing UI and the output graph and all that stuff. And you can just basically see everything you need to see, and it's just very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Okay. Alright, also, supply dumps are now rendered in-game to show you where they are, previously only visible on Fleet Control UI or map. Color and size also show how much material they contain. So, if I do this, that's what this glowy thing is. It's, that is, you can see here, that's the friendly salvage. That is, you can now see exactly where it is. It looks, I quite like it, actually. You can tell exactly what that is. Like, it's unmistakable. It's here. It's like, oh, there's the X. X marks the spot. Here be treasure. Which is very, very nice. And, updated the avatar respawning UI and added a spectate tab to it, so you can just... I wonder if I should kill Rambot. How is Rambot not dead? Okay, you know what? Wow, that chair's going to space. Okay. Rambot is apparently impossible to kill, but we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna see this. Come on. Come on. There we go. Hello. Alright, so that we got there in the end. Right, so this is it. This is it. Default respawn. So now, if we were tracking a vehicle, this would be able to track it. But we're good. Rambot can go chill on the bottom of the ocean for a hot second. Alright, what were you doing now? Alright. So, various UI improvements across the board, not specific of what they are. So let's spawn in our turret test fortress again. Let's get Rambot back from his vacation. Let's delete this thing. So you go there, my friend. And Cram Barrel Tooltip now also shows shell health. So, thankfully... not there, let's go... Here's a Bertha. So if we go here, you'll see that the shell health is now actually on that UI, which is super, super handy, because that always kind of bugged me. I'm not sure if it bugged... Like, I'm not sure if it bugged anyone else, but the fact that you had to go and hover over the firing piece in order to tell what the health the shell was, that always kind of bugged me. And I say always, I mean just since the CRAM update happened. Okay, so... change in the UI, the laser colorer function is now built into the standard laser combiner. If the combiner has a color, the color settings will be used. So what that means is that over here in the lasers, and again, this is a change that need to come for a while. Laser settings, it's now the change of the color of the laser is now on the combiner itself. You don't need to stick a color on it. Although I believe that block is, yep, that is still there. You can still use it, but you don't have to, which is neat. Q menu for turrets now doesn't have the mostly empty stats tab. So I forgot that existed. This is not on a turret. That's irritating. That means I have to make one. Oh, how life is hard. Alright, so if you go here, you'll notice that it's just got the core and turret settings, and there's no stats tab, which was added recently, and was about as useful as wheels on a house, so it's not there anymore. And various tooltip improvements as well. I hope they did spell checking. And speaking of UI, there's now a new thing called Weapon Sync. So, all weapons got a new tab on their Q menu called Synchronization. So, if we have this here, let's see. Alright, so we do this now, and we place our turret. And let's go here, and we're going to place it Bertha on here. Let's see if that works. That did not work. No, it did work. Cool, cool, cool. And if we go to advanced cannons, that's not it. Let's see, what's this? This guy is also not on a turret for some weird reason. Alright. Let's go here. That's not the right one. Dang it. Alright, so advanced cannons, Cuprum. It is on a turret. What was I doing? What am I doing with my life? Not paying attention. Alright, so going here, this is 20 rounds per minute, and this is definitely not 20 rounds per minute. And that's how we can talk about weapon synchronization. All weapons got a new tab on their Q menu, which is synchronization, which basically means you can slave a weapon to another one to essentially match its rate of fire, or be as close to it as possible. Which I can see being a very useful feature if you want to very specifically have, like, volley cannons at once. So, there we go. So you can see here, all this stuff. Right here. Very nice. And each weapon can be assigned a parent of the synchronization menu, and will try to fire at least X seconds, but at most Y seconds after the parent did. And each weapon can have a maximum waiting time. If only syncing stopped it from shooting for over Z seconds, it'll fire a shot without waiting for its parent. I need to... yeah, okay. Maximum waiting time. Let's set that to... 28 seconds. Wait, no. Wrong one. Let's set that to here, because this APS gun fires at 20 shots per minute, so which means about, yeah, it fires way faster than the CRAM. This is just an example. You probably shouldn't do this. And go here. Alright, what ID are you? Weapon ID 582. That's not the one. Alright, let's go find that firing piece. What number are you? ID 582, okay. Okay. That's weird. Presumably that's the right one. Now let's see if it works by spawning in the Marauder. Nope, didn't work at all. Let's try that again. Nope. Do the third one. There we go. So now, when this guy fires, hopefully what that means is that then, only then, will the APS fire as well. So, wait for it. Bang. There we go. Let's just set this guy to 50% so we're not here all freaking year. So this is a handy trick now to kind of sync up your weapons a bit. So they can all fire when you want to and not one moment before. Cool. Right, so while that Marauder's getting bullied, let's talk a bit more. So there's weapon sync. If two weapons are synced to each other with a 0 delay, they will try to fire with a 1 frame difference between them. So they don't fire exactly at the same time. If a weapon is destroyed, all other weapons depending on it will fire freely until it's repaired. If the destroyed weapon was synced to something, its children will sync to the grandparent. Weapons have grandparents. Weapons have families too. Missile controllers set to continuous mode with a stagger between missiles will sync each individual missile. And weapon firing delay setting has been removed. What? Oh, so it has. Firing delays have been removed completely. Which is like, you know, it's fine, because let's face it, wasn't super useful. At least I didn't find it. And it's been actually, there's another detail that has been added to the game, which has removed the need for them pretty much completely. And, weapons got an integer IG that's persistent and unique on their craft. It is shown on their tooltip, and syncing can be set up based on that. That's what I was doing, looking at the firing piece and stuff like that. So, weapon ID. Let's go here. ID 1204, so you go synchronization. You can kind of see right here, APS scannings, that's 1204. That's the ID of that APS firing piece. And, okay, so, and the important thing, which I noticed that I have put in bold here, is that the reason, like, why firing delays have been removed completely is that weapons now hold fire for 3 seconds when they are put into play. So, those of you who follow my Ashes of the Empire playthrough might recall me getting very salty at a laser completely frying one of my tanks before it was even fully spawned in. That's not an issue anymore. Weapons now, 3 seconds when they are first put into play, they hold fire, which is very convenient, and it also means that they don't miss, because what was often happening is that weapons tended to fire before good detection data had been gathered, and so the first shots would always miss anyway, except when they don't, and they laser your tank to death. And speaking of weapons, aim point selection now has a little bit of a different thing to it, and to demonstrate that, we need something that hangs about with its body a lot underwater. Spoiler alert. So, over here, aim point selection card, we've added a below water toggle. So, if I just remove this, so you'll see that this fella is currently aiming above water as much as he can, because that's a good idea. But you can change that. You can now set it to target blocks below water. And now you'll see here, let's see, not actually doing what I wanted it to. There we go. It's now aiming below the water, admittedly not with actually quite a bit of success. Also, now there's a... This isn't in the patch notes, but there's also a damage shader that goes on these, which I'm not sure if I'm fond of. But I guess it was kind of badly needed, because it could sometimes be difficult to tell if something was damaged when, well, like this Kingstead, it has dark paint, or if it has camo on it. Okay, so that's a thing. Alright, back to the aim point selection. Over here, you also see, as well as max time before changing target block, you also have target random blocks, target clusters of blocks, which attempts to shoot concentrations of blocks, rarely but not never choosing isolated blocks, requires recent visual or active radar sonar detection of the target, or else it will fall back to random block targeting. Cool. And also added a hot blocks aiming option. Weighted by temperature. Requires recent IR detection of the target, or else it'll fall back to random block targeting. So, now we can shoot at engines. We can shoot at jets more effectively. Because now we have options for that. And now, this is, probably... I'm not sure if this is the end game. I don't actually know what the devs are planning, for the most part. But this is like, now there's actually pretty good reason to stick infrared detection on your craft. If you want them to shoot at hot things, like the jets or engines or anything like that, you do need to stick IR cameras on them. So yeah, that's handy. And actually, wait. Oh, no. So the target random blocks actually requires you to use radar. So, yeah, okay, that's a reason to use radar. That's a reason to use IR. Like, immediately, suddenly, those things are now useful. I can't believe we're actually damaging the Kingstead as much as we are doing right now. Alright, what else is there? So, armor penetration. Okay, this is gonna require some formulas that hopefully future me remembers to put on screen. Future me is not particularly trustworthy right now, though. So, change in armor penetration. Armor damage reduction is now armor penetration divided by armor class, instead of armor penetration divided by 2 times armor class. AP values halved across the board. The 3-pounder simple cannons got their damage halved instead. Okay, so I was worried about this. So if we go here, for instance, let's see if I can remember this. If we do this, I'm kind of trying to remember how. Okay, yeah. So if we do something like this, yeah. So I remember that if you had so many sabot warheads and a sabot head like this, the armor piercing would be like about 80, but it's a lot less than that now. So that's cool. That's nice. All right. So it basically means that armor calculation is a lot more simple. It's just like, you need to match the armor class of the target. You don't need to go double it in order to do full damage, which is very nice. Penetration. Frag angle damage modifier from 2.5 plus angle to the power of 0.5 divided by 16 to 2 plus angle to the power of 0.5 divided by 16. Future me, you better put that particular you better put that particular formula up on screen now-ish, because, geez, I'm not sure if I read that right. Paired with the damage buff, this means high angle is slightly better. Okay. Why is that an AP? Alright, so another change is that frag base damage is up by 25%, because at the recent armor changes, the thing that basically made a whole bunch of what is going on the screen right now? The thing that made structural blocks have a lot more armor, that kind of indirectly nerfed frag into not being particularly good. So frag has more damage now. Change in AP. Projectiles that ricochet only do 75% damage to the block hit, on top of armor and angle reductions. So... okay. So basically it means that if your shot ricochets, it does less damage. And projectiles that ricochet still lose damage potential as if they did full damage, and their damage is reduced to 75% after that. So basically it means that, yeah, like if you have enough of an angle and AC value on your armor, ricochets don't actually hurt you that much anymore. So, another change, speaking of ricochet, is the ricochet chance went from that horrible looking formula to a different horrible looking formula. Ricochets are less common, and the angle is now more important, and AP is less important. Okay, so now we're going to talk about APS for a hot second, for which we can delete that guy. Alrighty, so if I just... Wow, that music is slightly too epic for what's happening right now. What was I doing? No, wrong one. There we go. There we go. There. Wait. There we go. Can we have nice music again, please? Well, it is nice. Oh well. Oh well. Can't complain. What was I doing? Simple. Alright, so... Alright, so the change in APS for some reason is 130mm case-mated simple gun barrel length up from 4.25 to 5. So I guess that means the thing's more accurate. Yep, barrel length 5, barrel length 7. Yeah, because the 150mm case-mated simple gun barrel is up from 6.56 to 7. So slightly longer. That's nice. And change APS cannons on turrets. Now start elevating their barrels even when the target is out of their azimuth R. So, let us demonstrate that with... What's the thing? Let's go... Swordfish. So, where that swordfish at? That swordfish over there. So, let us observe this APS. Well, that wasn't great. Well, that was harder to demonstrate than I thought. Okay, so, same change for CRAM barrels as well, by the way. Wow, okay. Swordfish just died. Actually, let's spawn in a duster. Let's see here. That's so hard to... Presumably... Okay, let's try and do this. So, if we do this now... Yeah, that did work. Alright. So that works. APS. Barrel length needed for full gunpowder burn is now... Let's just make the duster immortal for giggles. Barrel length needed for full gunpowder burn is now... that formula on screen right now. Instead of the old formula. Medium, high caliber, and low caliber without too much gunpowder generally needs shorter barrels. Low caliber with plus 10 gunpowder needs noticeably longer barrels. So you can't have such stubby barrels on low caliber guns anymore. APS, base kinetic damage up by 5%. So kinetic is back in town. Cannons using fire rates below 2,400 are using the proper fire rate. It's a fix for what was suspended to sort out some timing issues. Default special factor setting for HE bodies is now 1 instead of 0.8. It means that if you want a proper pure shaped charge or squash head, you don't need to go and mess with all that. Firing piece, built-in recoil absorption capacity up by 25%. You need less recoil absorbers. Firing piece, built-in recoil recovery up to 4/3 the old value, so basically it's better by 1/3. Change APS, flak base damage up from 1/3 of HE to half of HE, so flak does more damage. Flak base radius down from 3.5 times HE to 3 times HE. So, flak does slightly more damage, but has a slightly smaller radius. For barrel traverse, multiple barrels no longer set effective caliber to the diameter of the cylinder around them. Each barrel beyond 1 increases effective caliber by 20% instead. So, let's just test that by deleting the duster and turning the UI back on. So, if this fella, and let's do that, so 500 millimeters, so if I do this now, can't fire max gauge with 2 barrels is 250 millimeters, okay, fine, 3, 4, 6. Alright, that's annoying. Alright. I do not understand that note. Sorry, I do not. Your desired gauge will only kick in if it's lower than the gauge you achieve through gauge increases. What? Okay, still don't understand that. I can't brain. Clearly. Okay, gunpowder casing kinetic energy and recoil up by 25%. Alright, so that means that gunpowder shells are faster and have more recoil. That explains the change to the APS firing piece. And hollow point head kinetic damage modifier is down from 1.5 to 1.2, so they do hollow points do less damage. Let's shoot at him. Let's shoot at a marauder because we can. That's the Marauder's theme tune right there. What? That's what? What the hell is this? This is weird. This is a weird APS. Anyway, Frag. Okay. Low caliber kinetic damage boost reduced from one formula to a different one. So, yeah, like lower gauges get slightly less of a boost to kinetic damage. Max penetration heat damage up from 30% to 40% of a frag warhead with the same 30-degree angle. Maximum rail charge for any given shell is up by 25%, so you can drop more railgun charge into any shell. Let's spawn in extra Marauders, just in case. I've just messed up my Google document. There we go. Okay, APS shell speed penalty from 2-meter muzzle brake no longer stacks. Okay, so it means that if you stick multiple 2-meter long muzzle brakes, it doesn't slow your shell down to ridiculous levels. Okay, great, cool. CIWS! That means it's time to delete the Marauders and delete this fortress and spawn in a little CIWS fortress I made some time ago. Good news, by the way, I'm figuring out CIWS slowly but surely. That's the wrong thing. Where is my test thing? There's fortress, CIWS. This one. Where the hell are you? Alright, you go there, you turn off. Just to show you this is indeed CIWS, let's spawn in Banshee. Ah yeah, Steel Strider's music is pretty good. Ah yeah, this is not super great CIWS, I should point out. I remember this being a lot better when I tested it before. Oh, jeez, that's real good music, actually. Alright, so, anti-missile cannons aim at the attached mainframe's first possible target when idling. Anti-missile cannons can now target and damage CRAM shells. Max diameter slider up from 1,000 to 2,000 millimeters. This is embarrassing. My little battery is not doing so hot right at the moment. Huh. I think that might have something to do with the fact that flak doesn't have a super good radius at the moment. Or maybe it's because you're not actually hitting the missile. Great! Okay. Yeah, so that's a big one. That is one of the biggest things. Is these guys... they now can damage CRAM shells. And they actually do a decent job of it, too. So if I go here and have a heavy head... And if I clear all of my thingies at once, so go here, weapons defenses, APS, clear shells. Did that work? Yes, it did. Alright. So now we're firing kinetics, and let's spawn in... Oh, jeez, no wonder that wasn't working. We didn't have proper munition warners. Ye gods, BorderWise. Yay, gods. Alright, now let's spawn in... What's something with a few crams? Proper amount of crams. Stockade. So as you can see, the crams get fired into the ocean for some reason. But eventually when they fire again, you'll see that our guns can actually shoot down those shells. And you might think that as the CRAM man, or as I guess some people think of me, I'd be upset by this, but no, I think it's really cool. And it makes sense. If a gun can shoot down a missile, it can shoot down an artillery shell as well. So, go here, and it's a great use for kinetic CIWS, as it happens. These still aren't great, by the way. Onyx, if this is Onyx Watch music playing, it's very foreboding, actually. It's quite interesting. Right, so, yeah, while we're shooting down CRAM shells, we should talk more about the CIWS changes. So, anti-missile cannons get a slider, increases and decreases the priority of the missiles depending on their diameter. So, let me show you that thing. So, we go here. Oh, we do have munition warners. What the hell? I forgot about that. Okay. So we go here. Here's our anti-missile cannon controller. You'll see here, priority, diameter priority times 1. And you also have another setting that says whether it targets all projectile types, targets only missiles, or targets only CRAMs. Love the sound of these things as well. So, yeah, just mentioned that. CIWS damage multiplier down from ×8 to ×4. Oh, that's why these things weren't working so well against missiles. Oh. Diameter of missile colliders is times 2.5 the diameter of the actual missile against cannon projectiles and frags. So what that means is that you don't need to make these things super accurate, because when ran out of shells. When the thing is engaging like enemy shells or missiles, it doesn't need to hit them spot on. It's got like the hitbox of them is about 2.5 times bigger, which is very convenient. What just exploded on me? Something just exploded there. What just happened? That is kind of cool, really cool, just to see little CIWS things going pop, 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 pop. Anyway, what was I talking about? CRAM! CRAM cannons on turrets now start elevating their barrels even when the target is out of their azimuth arc. So, we can demonstrate that by doing this, and hopefully we should see these gun barrels start to rise. Yep, they did. I'm not sure if you saw that, but they totally did. Means they got on target a lot quicker. Alright, flash suppression barrel reduces detection range to 50% instead of 20%. That was a little bit broken, I feel. Fuses reduce health by an additive 10% each instead of 5%. So further CRAM nerf is like fuses really do reduce the health of your shells by a whole lot. But non-kinetic payload damage is up by 20%. So CRAMs, after all that, they do more damage. Like 20% more damage. So you can just show that right now. I remember that a 1000mm CRAM, just assuming that it doesn't have like any, what do you call them, payload compactors or anything like that. It does a roughly 4000 damage of explosive damage when fully packed. So let's see how much it does. No, that's very slow. Let's see Still too slow. Very slow. Very slow, very slow. Come on. Let's see, is it over 4,800? Yeah, it's... Yep, that's definitely more. It's just shy of 5,000, so... watch out, you're gonna need that anti-CRAM CIWS, because CRAM shells do more damage now. And, what is exploding? Oh, I've got the freaking grenade launcher equipped. Alright, detection. This is important. Detection components now test line of sight against all sub-objects. So, back in the day, you could stick a detection component behind a sub-object like a turret and it could still see right through it. Not so anymore. If you do this, you will see line of sight backwards out of the vehicle is blocked, which, as you expect, that's part of the hull. But this turret is also blocking it. So, if you're anything like me and you're sometimes lazy, and you just stick like a 360 camera like behind a turret or just being blocked by a turret because it worked, that doesn't work anymore. So saddies there. Detection. Further tweaks to visual IR, radar, sonar, and passive sonar signatures, presumably to make things more sensible, I hope. Most detection components AC increased to 30, costs are standardized. So let's have a quick look here. So AC 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. Alright, let's see. That's 30. That's 40. So still... armored ones are still 30. The missiles, the boys are definitely not, and so is the wireless snooper. Anything on the outside has an AC of 30, which is very nice because it means they get blown up a little bit less. Okay. Missile interceptors. This is something we should definitely talk about. So, Stockade, you turn on for a second, and I'm just going to delete these turrets. Interceptors. The ACB has a new condition, which is enemy CRAM shells with an XY range band. That is super golden. Let's see. Wow, this music is slightly too epic for what's happening. I think actually for tutorial videos I'll still like add in my own music. Okay, so missile controller. So there's a condition here. Enemy CRAMs detected. Right, and Interceptor. Interceptor CRAM damage multiplier goes from 0.4 against 1000 millimeters to 0.8 against 2000 millimeters. Damage multiplier against small medium missiles is 0.5 to 1. And yeah, that patch note should be after the next one, which is Interceptors can now target and damage CRAMs. So we should make that very thing happen. So where is it? Where's it? Weapon system. Weapon systems. Fire. H2. And let's see. Does that controlling the right fella? Yes, it is. So we go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Go here. Identify friend or foe. Don't know if you need that with anything like that, but couldn't hurt. Alright, so we just go small missiles, and since these things spawn in as interceptors, all we're going to do is add an APN guidance, and there you go. And let's get the stockade firing again. Wait. And it missed. But that's okay, because the thing will fire again eventually. Missile interceptors, I feel, might be slightly too good against CRAM cannons at the moment. I'm not sure on that. Please don't quote me on that. And devs, please don't rebalance the game based on that, because I'd have to put it, just putting it into practice, like, I don't know, haven't done the math myself, but yeah, you'll see that they actually do pretty well against CRAM cannons, in particular against volleys that can damage multiple CRAM shells at once. So yeah, it's pretty decent, and I kind of like this because it means you don't need to stick a LAMS on a craft in order to get it some CRAM protection. You do need that LAMS in order to shoot down APS shells, though, so it's not like these things render LAMS useless. There you go. Lovely. Okay, so that is a really big change. Interceptors can target missiles and CRAMs, only missiles or only CRAMs. So there's an option here. So you go here, target missiles and CRAMs, target only missiles, target only CRAMs, target both. So, super interesting, super cool. And interceptors do not target CRAM shells more than 5 meters underwater. So that does mean that yeah, it's like yeah, that's a very good thing, because it means that interceptors aren't trying to shoot CRAMs that have missed your ship completely. LAMs! LAMs node targeting has been improved. LAMs node's got a slider, increases or decreases priority of missiles and shells depending on their diameter. We should probably show that. So here, we have a multi-purpose laser, so a very simple one. We don't have it yet, be patient. And we're gonna have a coupler, we're gonna have a 1 cavity, and we're gonna have 1 laser pump. And we are going to have 1 laser boot. There it is. There we go. That is the worst LAMs ever made. But we can look at the UI of it. So, targeting improved. LAMs now got a slider. Where is the slider? Diameter priority multiplier. So, it basically means the higher this is, the more it prioritizes big things. And the lower it is, the more it prioritizes small things. So, set it to 1, it'll just prioritize what it does. And alright, so LAMs now start checking for targets again when the distance to their locked one starts to increase. So that basically means that LAMs are no longer going to waste their time shooting at things that have overshot, which is super convenient. Missiles. Missiles add minor visual explosion effect to all missiles. Missiles with no HE or Frag payload simply disappeared when shot down. So let's see here, when these missiles get destroyed, which I think they do when they engage stuff. Oh yeah, they are! There's a tiny effect, see? Wait for it, 10 seconds, and... Damn it, these things are so fast! Whoop, there we go, tiny little explosion. Wow, this music is slightly too epic for what's happening. Alright, missile base health down to 5/6 of the previous value, so it's down by 1/6. That was a horrible sneeze. No! Excuse me. I'm allergic to CRAM shells being shot down so easily. Alright, so, missile damage up by 25%. That's a big deal. So, if we go here and just stupidly stick something like there, and let's turn you off for a hot minute. And So if we go here and explosive warhead, let's see, HE damage is 300, I believe. That was, what's 25% of the 1/4? So that times 75%. I'm going to pull out my calculator. Yeah, I believe whatever. It's higher now. Okay, just take the dev's word for it. I'm not going to try and argue. Missile interceptor damage down to 3/4 the previous value. Interesting. All right. So while damn it, missile interceptors are more versatile now in that they can shoot down CRAM shells. They do less damage. So that's interesting. Shiny. Alright, so missile guidance. Lure missiles now require general purpose processing power, which I believe is a much needed balance. Remote guided missiles are immune to ECM so long as they have an intact cable connection, like sensor buoys. So if we go look on this missile. So, remote guidance over here, that is immune to ECM so long as you have it attached to something, I believe. So it's like attached via cables to the missile controller, which presumably means that harpoon missiles just got a lot more interesting. Okay. I'm not sure what the like sensor buoys means. Alright, so, Nuke! Time to spawn in a friend. Time to phone a friend and watch them as they sail off to their destiny. The Tuziatek! Prepare to be sick. Okay, come on. There we go. Right, so nukes. Tactical nuke base damage up from 80,000 to 500,000. The radius now uses standard scaling now up from 50 meters to 51.2. So nukes are way more damaging now. And we're about to find that out in just a moment by the looks of it. Nope, we're not. Tuziatek is feeling playful. But nukes are now way more expensive, so to give you an idea of that, the Tuziatek used to be about 1,000 materials, it's now 14,000. And the weight is up from 40 to 400, so they're heavy and they're expensive, which makes sense really, because I mean, come on, it's a nuke. And before we continue on, we're just gonna watch the Tuziatek do its work, which it will do eventually. Come on, down you go, down you go. Come and say hi. This is a real funky thing, really. And yes, come on, tickle his butt. Tickle his butt. Did we AI did it? No, but we did launch them straight out of the water, and ooh, we left a dent. Nice. I look at that and I say, nice. That's a dent. So yeah, that's nukes are more powerful. Particle cannons. The particle cannon damage is the damage of particle cannons is down to 73.3% because presumably it was a little bit strong. And to just to represent that on screen, I'm going to spawn in a thing I made the other day. Let's see where it is. This is the pack canoe, which is 50,000 bucks, and has explodey packs. Hello. Hello. When I tell you to follow a vehicle, I want you to follow. There we go. Alright, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so the damage of these things is down a little bit, so it'd be a lot easier to tell you that if I remembered what damage this thing did previously. Uh-oh, I think... Yep, this is a great example. It cannot see through this big stupid turret. But that's okay. It does broadside for a reason. Alrighty, so now we've got multiple things happening. Okay. Damn it, let's try this again. Come on. Let's follow the pack canoe. Alright, so physics. Custom control surfaces now move a lot faster. Projectiles. You might have been noticing this already. All fragment trails are shorter and width scales with damage. Heat particles are closer to yellow, hash particles are red now. Shell trails are now shorter, and color for APS CRAM is fixed orange-ish. Traces work the same as before. Length scales with shell speed less, and CRAM trails are thicker and still scale with payload. And this is the original From the Depths music. Neat. Okay, so, projectile size-based detection range for projectiles reduced to 72% of the original value. CRAM shells have 396 to 792 meters base detection range. Presumably that's from minimum to maximum gauge. Visible tracer trail is twice as long as the trail of a standard shell. Tracer width is a multiplier now. Default is 2. Value range is still 0.5 to 10. So it's just basically you can customize your tracers a lot. Let's look at the front of this pack canoe while we're here. Hello? I apparently am not wizard enough. Hello? There we go. Get to look at the side of this thing's head. Okay, warp. No, not warp. Shields. Shield projectors now spawn fully charged to the target strength, which is super nice. Warp. Detection uses a different velocity compensation method for targets that have warped within the previous second in order to limit the usefulness of rapid short warps in fooling detection. Weapon durability APS. Oh, there's a lot of durability stuff. How long have I been going? About an hour. Cool. Weapon durability. APS 1x1x1 mantlet health's up from 600 to 1000. APS barrel armor up from 25 to 35. Health up from 700 to 800 per meter. Weapon durability. APS bore evacuator and muzzle brake armor up from 30 to 40. 2 meter muzzle brake now has 1600 health instead of 800. APS firing pieces armor up from 20 to 30. Health up from 350 to 500. APS heavy barrel armor up from 40 to 50, health from 900 to 1000 per meter, APS heavy barrel cost down from 70 to 60 material per meter. Weapon durability, again, APS laser targeter armor up from 25 to 50, APS non-1x1x1 mantlet healths up from 1000 to 1500 per block, presumably for consistency. APS rail magnet and attaching fixture armor up from 30 to 50, health down from 600 to 500. APS recoil absorber upper armor up from 10 to 20, health from 125 to 150 per meter. So, just ducking in here, you get to see... Yep, that's more health. And that is a lot of health. And... that's, yep, the magnet has all that stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's hang out on the pack canoe. That's an idea. It means I don't have to... There we go. That's an angle. Sweet. All right. Weapon durability. CRAM. Okay. CRAM barrel armor up from 30 to 50. Health from 900 to 1000. CRAM firing piece armor up from 25 to 30. Health up from 500 to 800. CRAM gauge increase armor up from 30 to 40. Health from 400 to 500. CRAM heavy barrel armor up from 40 to 60. CRAM laser targeter armor up from 25 to 50. Lasers. Lamb's node armor up from 10 to 25. Laser armored optics armor up from 20 to 60. Health stays 600. Laser combiner armor up from 4 to 30. Health from 100 to 400. Laser optics armor up from 10 to 40. Health stays 250. Short range laser combiner armor up from 15 to 50. Health from 600 to 1500. Weapon durability, missiles. Missile connector armor up from 3 to 30. Health is still 100. Weapon durability, this one's really important, so I hope you're paying attention. Missile controller armor up from 12 to 30. It is now susceptible to EMP, takes 10% damage from it. That was the important note. You can fall back asleep now. Missile ejector add-on armor up from 3 to 30. Health is still 100. Missile hatch armor up from 40 to 50. Missile rail launcher and gantry armor up from 20 to 40. Missile standard launcher and gantry armor up from 20 to 30. Missile winch armor up from 3 to 40. Health up from 100 to 200. And there is a long list of fixes. A very long list of fixes. It is enough for me to know that stuff has been fixed. The link to the patch notes will be in the description for you to see the list of fixes, because my brain is officially cooked now. So, that is pretty much it, I believe, for this patch notes. I cannot believe I fit that all into 1 hour. I probably missed something. Let me know if I missed something. So, patch 2.8. To summarize once again, the big stuff, the new campaign map. CIWS and Interceptors can intercept CRAM. There's changes to armor. A lot of different blocks have more armor now to fit in. There's no more leveling. I should probably show that. Yes. Avatar skills, avatar items. There's no leveling whatsoever. Good riddance. And music. Turn it up. So yeah, that's it. I'm zonked. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this upside video. Be sure to vote in the campaign poll if you've been following the streams to see where the stream will be next. And thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon if you like, it really helps. Thank you to all my current Patreon supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. This game keeps getting better. I do honestly think that, just so you know. Farewell!